Alright, today I'm going to show you how to refill small propane tanks. I've made a video about this before, but I know a few things more than I did before. So, the first thing you want to do is grab something, purge your tank. This one has barely anything in it. Then you can refill it. You can refill it just after you purge it. You know, take all the propane air that's out of it. Because, you know, that little bit of air is not going to power anything. So you purge it and it's empty. So you can either refill it just like this, just empty, or you can further purge it by throwing it in the freezer. I like throwing them in the freezer personally. Alright, so throw that in the freezer, be like a cooking show, and pull the other one out. Alright, so here's your propane tank, which I need to get another one. This one's getting really rusty. Just five bucks more than refilling them. I can get another brand new tank, so might as well do that. So here's your Mac coupler. That's what they look like. You thread them in right-handed thread, so you turn it left. Here, I'm going to switch hands. A little easier with my left. Turn it left to tighten it up. Turn it right to loosen it up. Or it's the left-hand thread. Sorry, left-handed thread. Got to put it on with your left hand. That's what it means. No, just kidding. Gotta make sure this is tight. Not too tight, but tight enough. Because whether that's copper or bronze, it's still kind of easy to strip out. So it's fresh from the freezer. I want to go ahead and throw this on here. Now you can do the freezer or you can not do the freezer. It matters on how filled you want it. Sometimes if you put them in the freezer, you can get them overfilled. They're not going to explode if they're overfilled, but they can. I'm trying to think of how to explain it. They can fill up too much if they come out of the freezer, you know. And if they won't explode if they're overfilled, but they will. They'll let liquid gas come out of there instead of, instead of gas. Liquid propane instead of gas propane. There you go. So you want to turn this upside down, like that. Now you want to reach under here and turn the tank on. Just a second. Turn it on just like that. There we go. And now that is filling up. And how you can tell when it's filled is it doesn't hiss anymore. You can't hear any noises coming from it because this is transferring liquid propane into there to fill it up. Now this works on all bottles with that fixture on them. As long as it fits into there, it works. You can get these, they're called Mac couplers, M-A-C couplers. You can get them off eBay. Learned about a month or two ago, you can get them from Harbor Freight. I was just looking around in Harbor Freight, like I always like to do, and saw one there. I saw them there. I've been to 2 different Harbor Freights, and they were at both Harbor Freights, so. And I've had somebody else tell me that they sell them at Harbor Freight, and I already knew that by that time. But so yeah, you get them at Harbor Freight also. So yeah, they're $20, around $20. A little more, a little less, just depends on where you get them. To save you a whole lot of money though, instead of buying each one of these tanks locally here, they're around $5. It just depends on where you get them. You can get them at discount places. You can get them, from Walmart or camping store. It just depends on where you buy them from. But they're around about $5. Oops, sorry about that. My my camera card filled up. But instead of buying these $5 a tank, which, it isn't too bad to the regular camper, because some people know no difference. They don't know you can actually refill them. And you can fill them up for a lot cheaper. You know, I filled these up. To fill this whole tank up is about $15, and that equals, I don't know how many of these. These are like quarter of a gallon, and these are 5 gallons, I think. You know what I mean? Just do the math. It's a lot cheaper. You're going to save a lot more money on refilling these than, you know, the other way around. So this is filled now. This also works with, I think this is a 5 gallon tank. This here, it works all the way up to, I think, 20 gallons, if I remember right. So we're gonna detach it now. This tank needs to be replaced. I do need to replace this tank because it's starting to malfunction a little bit here and there. So, you know, I just go down, buy one filled, it's already filled, or go to a campground and look in the trash, and you'll find them in there. So, yeah. Hence the malfunction. Normally, just pulling it off, it'll go like that, and it'll kind of throw it back into your hand. But just unscrewing a little bit won't make it spew out like that. But it was, and you can see it's starting to get a little rusty in there, so it really doesn't need to be replaced. This will probably be the last time I use it, and then I'll probably purge it, fill it with water, you know, swish it around, and then cut it. If you fill it with water, it won't explode. So I'll probably cut it and use this metal for filler metal and stuff like that. That's what I usually do with them after they're done. And there's some of them come with, they're called green pins, and it's a little green thing. You push it into there. Don't use those to purge your tank, because what it does is it actually dismantles that plug inside there and makes it unusable ever again. You can't actually refill them after you put that in. It's really hard to get it back out. Once you get that green plug back out, that has been destroyed down inside there, and you can't ever refill it again. So don't use those to purge your tank, and be careful when you're purging the tank to not bend that little piece in there, because that's important. So I hope you enjoyed. So yeah, like I said before, it'll do these fat tanks. It'll do the long skinny tanks that you saw in the beginning of the video. You know, the big long skinny tanks. You know, just different things like that. I usually like to spray paint them. This was Coleman green, as you can see, kind of. I just spray painted it silver. I like to spray paint them because I like to be able to keep track of each one. Each one I spray paint a different color. I've actually found vintage ones. They're, you know, the old, it's not even round on the top or bottom. It's flat here and flat here. It's just the big round old ones, and I filled those ones up. Those ones last for a long time. The one that I had still worked, but somebody found it and threw it away because they thought, well, it's empty, let's throw it away. Well, I refill them. But so yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, just let me know. Also, do not turn this on with that in there, because if you turn it on with that in there, it comes spewing out everywhere. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, so don't turn that on when that's in there, especially if it's upside down, because the liquid that comes out of this tank, when it comes out here, it's like super cold. It's really, really, really cold, and it'll freeze the skin on your hands, which that doesn't feel so great. So hope you had a good one, YouTube. See ya. Bye.